Hello everybody, this is AZ Yu-Gi-Oh! Doing a deck profile on Tim. He topped at the 2014 Arizona Regionals with his Chain Burn deck, and we'll let him get to the deck profile.
For the main deck, monsters, I ran 3 Swift Scarecrow, 3 Battle Fader, 3 Card D, and that was it. Swift Scarecrow mainly I ran because I need to stop attacks, and it just stops the entire battle phase, and that's what you have to do. Waboku and Threatening War really aren't an option right now, with everyone running Wiretap, 7 Tools of the Bandit, Trap Stun. So these guys were just mandatory at 3. Like, I had to have them. Card D is just a free accelerant for any deck. Like, it doesn't matter what deck you're running, you pretty much run Card D. It's an instant draw engine. There's no way to get around it. So for Chain Burn, this was the best monster idea. I didn't run Lava Golem main deck because it's subject to dead draws, and the whole point of this day was I needed to avoid dead draws, do as much burn damage as I can, and end the game as quickly as possible. So for that reason, Lava Golems were not main decked, and these were the only monsters I played. For spells, I ran 3 Scapegoats, 3 Pot of Duality, 2 Chain Strike. Scapegoat is basically a you end your battle phase card. I mean, it brings out 4 Go tokens in defense mode. Nobody runs Gaia, the Dragon Charger anymore, except for maybe Hieratics. This really screwed up Bujin players. I versed 3 Bujin players, and Scapegoat really messes them up because their only option is to attack over the tokens. And when there's 4 of them, it gets really problematic. So it usually actually got me 1 or 2 turns of stalling before they could even try and do damage to me again. So this was like one of my MVPs of the day. Duality is just to thin your deck faster, get through your resources, stuff like that. Chain Strike is the whole point of the deck. The whole point of this deck is to make really big chains and do a ton of damage with Chain Strike. So I did play 1 day of peace because 1 day of peace gives them cards, and then I can't do damage to them for a turn, and that's just counterproductive for me. So then the rest are traps. 2 Ojama Trio. Ojama Trio is like one of the best cards in this deck. It's great for locking your opponent's field down. It's great for putting monsters on the board to burn them for damage. It's one of the least expected cards, and then when you play it, your opponent has to try and play around it, and it really messes them up. So, I mean, it guarantees big burn damage for stuff like Just Desserts and Secret Barrel. Next, 3 Reckless Greed. Basically, it's just a chain link. It provides draw power. It's like mandatory. You can't not run this. Same thing with Accumulated Fortune. It's another chain link. It provides draw power. Between Card Ds, Reckless Greeds, Accumulated Fortunes, and Pot Duality, you can pretty much thin through your deck extremely fast. You can pretty much set 5 every turn with that draw engine. Next, the most, I guess you could say, arguable feature of my deck, and in my opinion, one of the best. Dimension Walls and Cylinders. A lot of Chain Burn players have dropped these completely because they say, well, if you set it, it's just going to get destroyed and then you can't chain it. That's true, but because of that notion, most people won't try and pop your back row. They won't even bother because they're like, oh, it's a Chain Burn player. He'll just chain it all. No point. They'll just summon monsters and keep trying to attack you. That is literally the strategy of every player that I played at the regionals. And Dimension Wall Cylinder is a little bit more complicated because they can stop it with Lance or, Turtle or anything, but that's fine. The whole point of these 2 cards was what I call an opportunistic card. When I play this card, they have 2 choices. 1, take a large amount of damage, or 2, chain a card to try and not take the damage, in which they're creating a big chain link for me to go off of. So, if you play these cards right, even if they don't resolve properly, they can still win you games. This card also can waste trap stuns like no other. I mean, when your opponent swings at you with like a 2800 Felgrand, and then you play Dimension Wall, like their only option is to either trap stun that or take 3 grand to the face, and that's a really dangerous thing. So, like, people have to basically burn a single trap stun on this card just to stop it from going off on certain monsters. Then, of course, 3 Secret Barrel, just do a crap load of damage. 3 Just Desserts, again, do a crap load of damage. Pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing really hard to figure out there. It's just, I do damage to you, you lose the game. They're like the best burn cards in the deck, except for maybe Chain Strike. MVP of the entire day, like I am so glad I ran this, was 3 Wiretap. This card right now should be like a $30 card. I don't know why it's not. It's a ridiculously good card. The only crutch to this deck is Trapstun and Decree. And then if you have something that can nuke my field during the end phase, like the Blackwing Backlash or whatever crap like that, this stops all of that. I mean, I can't count the number of Trapstuns I wiretapped, or Decrees, or Solemn Warning. I mean, when they Solemn Warning a Scapegoat to try and push for game, and you just wiretap the Solemn Warning, they took the 2,000 damage, and you still got the Scapegoats to come out. So, like, wiretap was just amazing all day long. If I didn't run this, I can confidently say I would have lost 4 of my matches, because this card alone saved me. Because I could build a big chain link. At the end of the chain link, they tried to Trapstun. I wiretapped the Trapstun every single time. It's just too good. Like, if you're playing Chainburn, you've got to run these. Like, it's not even an option. For the side deck was dedicated toward a bunch of different decks. Princess of Tsurugi was one card I side decked. Against a lot of slower decks like Bujins, Chain Beat, Fire Fist, they have a lot of back row usually. So when you set her and they run into it, you can, like, there was one point where, there's a couple times where she did 2,500 damage to my opponent just because they ran into her with 5 back row. I mean, she can do a great amount of damage if used at the right time. Next for the side deck is 2 Lava Golems. Lava Golem, I didn't decide to main it because, again, I didn't want to have it a dead draw, and I didn't want people to try and like, game 1, when they see you playing Burn, they automatically assume this card's in the main deck, so they try and play around it. But I sided it. So game 1, they didn't see Lava Golem the entire game, so they assumed, oh, he doesn't run it. Game 2 is when I sided it in, if the deck was really spammy. If the deck was like Bujins or something, I didn't put Lava Golems in because there was no point. But if the deck was like, I don't know, Hieratics, Mermails, if it just spammed a lot, Lava Golem is a must. The only danger that I found out about Lava Golem is if you give your opponent 2 Lava Golems, they get a free Felgrand out of it. So I won't be doing that again, because that was a really bad idea. I actually lost a game because I did that. Anyways, 3 Dark Snake Syndrome. This is another card that people underestimate completely, and it won me so many games at the regionals. Basically what this card does is every turn during your standby phase, it deals burn damage. The first amount is 200, but every turn it doubles. So it's 200, 400, 800, 1600, 3200. If this lives like 3 or 4 turns, you win the game automatically. Guaranteed. You have game, period. And honestly, some decks just don't have an answer for this. Like, because I side this in during game 2 against really slow decks. Like when I play Bujins side out their Quillin in their MST game 2. They try and side into Trapstuns and stuff. And then I play this on the board, and they have to try and figure out, how the hell do I get this crap off the board? Because it's sitting there burning them for ridiculous amounts of damage. And between this and Lava Golem's burn, you can kill someone in like 2 turns with just those 2 cards. There was actually one game where I opened all 3 of these, and the guy just automatically scooped. Like, he wouldn't even play me. He was like, nope. Then 3 MST, because Decree is a pain in the rear. That's really all this was for. Like, I don't think there's any other continuous trap I'm really worried about playing against. But that's for Decree, because I know decks like Heretics and stuff run Decree, and I know there's also Decree Bujins right now, which is really ridiculous. So I didn't want to take the chance of running into that, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to side 3 MST, and if I think they're going to side in Decree, I'll just put these in. No harm, no foul. 3 Skill Drain. This was like another MVP of the day. Skill Drain is a really, really good card. It can just lock down your opponent really hard. It makes it to where their only option, basically, is to keep attacking you over and over and over. There was a couple situations where I versed players, and I just skill drained them, and the only option they had was just declare attack. And they attack into cylinders and D-walls and all kinds of ridiculous crap, and they just lose the game. The whole reason I put skill drain in was mainly for 6 Samurais. I was scared of versing 6 Samurai matchups. That's why Skill Drains and Lava Golems were actually in the side deck, was for the 6 Samurai matchup. Because 6 Samurai is one of the like arch nemesis of Chainburn. So, I mean, that's why those guys really went in there. But they still pulled out work all day versus like every deck. So, they did really well. The last card I ran that was extremely hilarious was Fairyland. This card is one of the most underrated cards, and it's one of the least played in any chain burn, but hands down it's one of the best for chain burn, and nobody realizes it. What it does is it destroys all other face-up spell and or trap cards on the field and deals 300 to both players for each one destroyed. Now that's really, really good because there's a lot of decks right now that use face-up spell and trap cards like Tenki, Call of the Haunted, Fiendish Chain, stuff like that. So when they have face-up cards and you play this, you're getting 300 free burn damage for every single card on the field face-up. And that includes cards you chain. So if you put this at the end of a chain and you have, like, let's say you chain 4 cards and put that at the end of the chain, they have 2 other cards, that's 6 cards. That's 1,800 damage from a single card. And that's what this deck needs. You need massive amounts of burn damage, and this provides it. So, like I said, this was just a must. Cards I didn't run that chain burn normally does, I don't know. Ceasefire, I didn't run Ceasefire because Ceasefire it's not reliable in my opinion. It only works on effect monsters. It doesn't work on Ojama Trio tokens. It's just really hard to pull off a good Ceasefire, so I didn't play Ceasefire. I didn't play Threatening Aurora Wabaku. I just didn't need them. I had the Battle Faders and the Scapegoats. Like, the build that I played that day, I think was the best build I could. I really think it was. I ended up going X2. I would have went X1 if I didn't get cheated in the final round, but you know what happens happens. So that's just what happened. So I mean, I really think this is the most solid chain burn deck that could be played right now versus the meta. So in all, I think I like the deck. I like my build, and I don't think there's anything I would have changed about it. But this next format, like Wiretap, is going to become too good. Like I'm not sure what Konami was thinking making Wiretap. It's a global answer to anything. It really is. I mean, sure, it can't stop monster effects and spells, but that doesn't matter. The main crutch of this game right now is trap cards. And if you can stop those trap cards for free, then you're winning. That's just how it works. So that was my deck profile, and I hope you guys enjoy it.